Hey everybody, it's Comedex and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're playing another flashback draft of Phyrexia All Will Be One, which is the flashback draft set going on this week. Without further ado, let's get back into the sets. We've got Evolving Adaptive as the strongest card in this pack. It's a 1 mana 1/1, but every time you play a creature, if it has greater power or toughness, you evolve this up. So it goes up to a 2/2, then a 3/3, then a 4/4, and so on. Really absurd card. Green has a lot of great beefy creatures at common in this set, so it's very easy to turn this into like a 4/4 or bigger by the end of the game for only 1 mana. So this just gets a ton of damage in for such a cheap mana cost. So that's easily the pick here. Some other notable cards. Indoctrination Attendant has a lot of nice combos. There's a mechanic called For Mirrodin where when the equipment enters, it comes with a creature. You can pick those up and recast them with that, so that's pretty good. It's probably my second favorite card out of the pack, but if you really like the toxic, poisonous stuff, there's a Venomous Brutalizer there as well, which is quite reasonable for those strategies. That rare, though, not the greatest. Giving your whole board -1/-1 is a huge, huge, huge detriment to it. It's a huge drawback that makes it not quite playable, or at least not quite good. Pick two. This is a pretty weak pack all around. There's nothing in this pack that I think really plays well in an evolving adaptive deck. There's like a very filler Death Touching Basilisk that technically does have high enough toughness. It'll probably evolve the adaptive when we play that on turn 3. But like the blue cards, like Transplant Theorist Tears for an artifact-centric deck. Green decks are really not that in this set. I guess blue-green with like Ataxian Raptor, but blue-green is a very, very awkward color pair. It's focused on like trying to get proliferating value, proliferating a bunch of oil counters onto your stuff and poison counters on your opponent. Just never feels like it really stacks together to be all that powerful. And this is like another corrupted focus card for like green-white. I would rather just speculate completely off color here and grab the strongest card in the pack, which is Vivisection Evangelist. If you're in black-white, you're going to be playing a bunch of toxic creatures. These are the poisonous creatures that put some poison counters on your opponent throughout the game. So you can get to those 3 poison counters for the Evangelist to make this absurdly good. 5 mana, 4/4 Vigilance, blow something up is great. So as long as you have the toxic stuff going on, that card is quite reasonable. All right, pick 3. Now we actually have a great green common, the Lattice Blade Mantis. 4 mana for a 4/3, but it comes with 2 oil counters on it, and when it attacks, you can remove one to untap it and give it +1/+1. So it attacks as a 4 mana 5/4 Vigilance. It's a well above rate. It's a great beefy creature to play with your Evolving Adaptive. Love taking the Mantis here, although the Sky Warden is a very simple card. 5/5 Menace, Reach, but those are good abilities, and green-red is a good color pair, so that's a very reasonable pick as well, but I'm going to lean towards the Mantis on this one. Beautiful stuff from pick 4, a second copy of Evolving Adaptive. They do play well in multiples because we're going to be drafting as many beefy creatures as we can throughout the curve, so being able to draw the adaptive more consistently in more games is going to make it as powerful as possible. Happy to take Evolving Adaptive here, but there's some other great cards. Lattice Blade Mantis, I think the second best pick for us, followed by potentially Oil Gorger Troll. Oil Gorger Troll and Barb Batterfist are very close for me here. The Batterfist has a lot of great synergies. It's a 2 mana 3/1 all by itself, and you can move that equipment around later. It's really good in red-white where you do care about the equipment. It's good in red-blue where you care about the artifact. In green-red, we don't really get any bonus synergies out of it. It's just a decent card in the first place, so the Oil Growth Troll or Oil Gorger Troll is probably just better. But Mantis is certainly better than the Troll there at this point. Pick 5. Really nothing much here. We have the 2 mana 2/2 to curve out with after the Evolving Adaptives. It is far more filler than anything else that we've taken, but we will want 2 mana 2/2s on curve. Fill out that mana curve, keep it aggressive, and keep the evolvers evolving, for lack of a better term. Yeah, there's really not anything all that powerful off color to even speculate towards. Testament Bearer or Skull Bomb being the options. I guess we could speculate on Testament Bearer. There are plenty of other decent 2-drops you can find later. Sure. Take Testament Bearer. It's a good 2-for-1 when it dies, that death trigger being great value. Pick number 6. Some toxic cards out of black. or we have Chimney Rabble out of red still. Pretty late for Chimney Rabble. That said, again, we're on a double evolving adaptive deck, so we're probably more on the Canker Bloom. 2 mana, 3/2 on color that gives us main deckable artifact and enchantment removal. Excellent card. Honestly, Chimney Rabble's probably just as good. This thing hastes out, it spits out a token and everything, but Canker Bloom is in a color that we're already 100% tied to, so when it's two perfectly even cards in terms of power level, we take the on-color one, and I love how that fits on the curve, being an excellent 2 right after the adaptives. Come on in, Canker Bloom. I'm more than happy to take a Batterfist at this point. The rest of the pack are not cards I'm particularly interested in. Aspirant is like okay in Boros, reduce your mana costs, but I drafted a lot of Boros and still didn't love it there. Paladin of Predation is a funny finisher for the toxic decks. If this gets like one hit in, you're usually finishing your opponent off at that point. But we're not really a toxic deck. We're just green beef right now. Yeah, happy to take Batterfist. Pick number 8, Hazardous Blast is a good finisher. There are also tons of playable 1 toughness cards. I mean, Barbed Batterfist is one of them we just showed off. But there's also like Might tokens running around. Those are 1/1s with Toxic that can't block. Just clear out all the Mights with Hazardous Blast. And if you ever get into a board stall, this shuts off all your opponent's creatures' ability to block. So if you just have random green beef, say you have a Canker Bloom and a Lattice Blade Mantis on board, that's 8 power right there. So that is a guaranteed 8 damage, even if your opponent has infinite blockers. So Hazardous Blast is a great finisher. Pick number 9, take something filler here. Filler 6-drop or filler 2-drop. I think the filler 2-drops are more important. I like 2/2 as a stat line a lot better than 1/3. We actually have some fun oil stuff going on, so the ability to maybe sack Proliferate could be better. I think either one of these cards are cards we would really prefer to end up cutting by the end of this draft. But I think Longlegs has cooler potential synergy, and we can just get the Slinger anyway. Although, Gulping Scrap Trap at 5 mana might not be bad if we end up in that Golgari direction. We don't have a particularly good start towards Golgari, because the general strategy is focused on high toxic numbers and trying to really poison your opponent out, and our best stuff is just really high power. But our best black spells we've drafted so far as well also don't directly care about poison. They're just kind of high power, high value spells, Testament Bear and Gulping Scrap Trap. So we can play a little bit off archetype, a little bit off the normal synergy and still end up in black potentially. Just take some good beefy creatures and some good removal. Might still be worth it. Another Barb Batterfist, pick 12 though. The Batterfists are going that late. It's going to be hard to get me to not play red because I am in love with that card. Pick 14, Chimney Rebel. This is one of the best commons in the entire set. I'm almost 100% sure it's top 3 in terms of win rate, so... Alright. I will go ahead and lock myself in here on green-red. That seems perfectly fine. So pack 2, pick 1. We can take a third Batterfist, although the Batterfists are wheeling around nice and late for us. Or an Axiom Engraver. I'd rather take the Axiom Engraver. Great when you're flooding out in the late game. Dig through that flood and draw some relevant stuff. Brutalizer is honestly not terrible in this deck either. It does make more sense in toxic decks because you are proliferating poison counters and the toxic 3 is pretty huge. But again, with oil counter synergies, there are other ways we can proliferate and add more counters to the board, but this looks like a good spot for Axiom Engraver right now. Second Hazardous Blast. The way this draft's going, I expect that to go later than Volt Charge, and I'm interested in both of them. Volt Charge for early removal that also buffs our adaptive seems pretty great here. Pick number 3. Man, some real strong off-color rares getting opened up. Malcator is awesome for the blue-white deck. This would have been great in our last Phyrexia All Will Be One deck. 3 mana for a 1/1 and a 3/3 at worst. And if you can play 3 artifacts in one turn, you make another 3/3 golem, which is wild. I really dislike Magmatic Sprinter. It keeps bouncing back to your hand. You have to keep recasting it. I do like Rustvine Cultivator a lot. Ramps you up. Volt Charge is also decent. It's one of the less efficient removal spells, 3 mana, 3 damage, versus Hex Gold Slash, 1 mana up to 4 damage. We can't get too choosy about removal. I think Cultivator is good enough, though, that I can take it over that removal. And now this pack has excellent removal. We have Hex Gold Slash or Rebel Salvo. I think we take Rebel Salvo here. Here, the deal 5 is enough to blow up almost anything in the set. And get rid of Indestructible, which could be relevance. Yeah, I like Furnace Strider a lot as well. It's great top end for the green-red aggro curve. But let's get that real good removal, the much cheaper version of Molten Rebuke. Another pack. All these 2-color rares that are pretty sick. There's a black-white rare, but obviously we ended up far away from black-white. Pick 5. Filler creatures. The Spore Singer, the Centurion, and the Cackler. I think of all 3 of those, the Cackler would be the best filler creature for this deck to run, but I'd still rather take a second Volt Charge over it for now. Pick number 6. Man, the card quality is low in pack number 2. After getting a pick 14 Chimney Rabble, generally expect to see better red than this. Just a Furnace Skull Bomb. Alright. I mean, to be fair, this pack's pretty bad for everybody. There's Annihilating Glare is probably the best card. That's pretty mid removal. Disappointing pack. We'll just take a filler 3 drop. We've got none of those yet. Alright. Get a second Chimney Rabble. Pick number 7. Happy to see that. Furnace Strider's also great top end. But we'll take another Chimney Rabble. Card is great. Here's those Coldotha Cacklers. Time for those to start wheeling around and filling out our 3-mana creature slot. And we'll just have a whole deck ready to go by pack 3. This is a pretty fun deck for Free From Flesh, because it's hilarious with evolving adaptives. Instant speed +4/+4 plus 2 of that is permanent. That's really fun with the adaptives, but I am not going to pass a Batter Fist for it. Another Hazardous Blast for another finisher. Another Volt Charge wheels around. Yeah, see, like, all the red is wheeling. It just wasn't very good red. Like Sprinter and Centurion and Slingers are just all mediocre. Hex Gold Slash pick 12. We are straight up the only red player. I really like Furnace Strider at the top end. But Hex Gold Slash is so good. So efficient. If any Furnace Striders are open up in pack 3, then we can just wheel them and get them there. Alright, we got 21 cards. We only need 2 more playables, and then from that point on, we just get to start cutting filler and improving stuff, like cutting out these Spore Singers for better 3-drops. I think we're in a really good spot this draft. But we'll see how the draft wraps up. We certainly haven't opened up any good rares for this color pair or anything, so we're going to be completely bombless, focused on just aggro curve, efficient removal, hazardous blast, surprise finishers. We'll see. We'll definitely take the Scrap Gorger here. This is a mana dork for a few turns, and then it's also a beat stick. Turns into a 3/3 to start getting into combat with once you don't need that mana anymore anyway. Could take the Chimney Rabble here, but based on how everything's gone so far, we'll just wheel that Chimney Rabble, and we could take Urabrask's Anointer, which is fun with the Engraver, the Scrap Gorger, the Adaptive, the Cultivator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards that come with oil counters. Yeah, if you have at least 2 cards with oil counters on the board when you cast this, it's pretty great to deal 2 to something. Basically, if this enters the battlefield and blows anything up, you're going to be super happy. But I guess that's still only 6 total, 6 out of 40. It's more than likely just going to be like 1 oil. Chimney Rabble is genuinely just a more consistently good card. I mean, we'll probably wheel it anyway and get both. But I think the more important one to just have 100% for sure is the Chimney Rabble. Pack 3, pick 3. Skull Bomb is cute with double adaptive. Not super consistent or anything, really just cute, but we have 4 really good 4-mana plays. We're not going to play a Plague Nurse or a Splitter over those. Certainly not going to play a Dune Mover, so Skull Bomb is the only card that has a chance of fitting in here, even if it's probably a cut. Ruthless Predation is interesting. Run that over like a 3rd Volt Charge. Free from Flash, again, cute. Cute. Really good with the evolving adaptives. Okay on some other stuff. I want to get cutesy here. Free from Flash sounds fun in this deck. So we'll play the Free from Flash, but not the Skull Bomb. Predation Steward. My lord. Another Hexgold Slash. Another Free from Flash. It's gonna be so hard to have room for even the one of Free from Flash, honestly. Really do not like the tap lands with how quick the games tend to play out. I don't think I'm playing anything here. Or here. Alright. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's go 16, 17 creatures. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spells. 16 lands. Something like that. I really don't like Spore Singer. Could cut another one of those as the last cut. Batterfist's up there. Yeah. Alright. We get to play the Gruul Menace this time around. Sadly, we didn't open up any great rares for it. And despite getting multiple evolving adaptives, I mean, one of these was a pack one, pick one. The second one, though, was like pick 3 or 4. And then we got like a Cankerbloom decently late. I think green was pretty heavily contested. We got very little in terms of quality green out of the second or third pack. But red was absurdly open. I think Magical Christmas Land out of this draft pod, the perfect position to be would be probably Boros. I think I remember seeing a good amount of reasonable white spells. Rakdos could have been fine as well. We had Testament Bearer there. We saw the Charforger and stuff show up. Like the black-red uncommon. Yeah, certainly not green-red. Maybe tied ourselves to green a little too early off of the double adaptive. But we still ended up with a perfectly reasonable deck, even if it isn't spectacular. And we can really cheese out some quick victories with the double Hazardous Blast topping off the curve. The adaptives just growing insanely quick. Yeah, this will be a nice, fast deck for a nice, fast format. Without further ado, let's hop into the gameplay and see how this does. Alright, we got that turn 1 evolving adaptive, and we just curve out from there. Let's go. Love this opener. Hazardous Blast is a card you prefer to top deck after you've like dumped your whole hand out. But the rest of the hand is just really good. It's the kind of stuff you want just in the opening hand immediately. They have a 1 black mana instant already. Evolving Adaptive might be dead to something. Whisper of the Dross would be real disappointing. -1/-1 and you proliferate. They wouldn't get to proliferate, but you'd kill the Evolving Adaptive before it evolves. Alright, may not be Whisper of the Dross. I don't remember any other 1 mana black instant, but that could just be because they have like an uncommon or something here. The rat trade is not bad. Sure. Trade before they have anything to proliferate. Move the Batterfist over to the Engraver here. Or the Adaptive. I don't want to lower the Adaptive's toughness. Chittering Skitterling. Ooh, don't really want to draw Double Blast. Well, I mean, I guess that's just 2 turns in a row where they literally can't block. Be super dead. So that is something. I think we send both in just in case they want to chump there. I'm not going to discard a card, draw a card. I'm going to keep these blasts. So, since I'm not using Engraver's ability anyway. Black Sun's Twilight. Ooh, we made them pop that before they got to the 5 mana to reanimate something with it too. Feels good. We can hit for 6 with Hazardous Blast, and then if they don't have removal, we hit for 6 again. But I can already just hit for 5 unless they chump block, so I think it's better to just do that. And then blow a Hazardous Blast without blowing up any creatures or anything. So they go to 6. Black or white, do they have any removal that does 3 damage specifically? Or -3/-3? No, I don't believe so. So I think we pass and just leave stuff where it is. So there's Incisor Glider, Super God. Alright, Hazardous Blast gets the kill. Boop. 6 damage, and that is game 1-0, heading into game 2. Alright, here we are on the draw for game number 2. We have a turn 2 Battlefist, a turn 3 Cackler. Certainly a much less impressive curve, and we are on the draw. But this looks fine. Green-white is a good matchup for Hazardous Blast. Or not Hazardous Blast, for Hexgold Slash. It could be a good matchup for Hazardous Blast as well. But Hexgold Slash, dealing 4 to toxic creatures, green-white, is a color pair that is pretty decently full of toxic creatures. The general archetype is supposed to be around going wide with a bunch of reasonable toxic creatures and then buffing up their power and toughness. Again, they split up the ways that the different toxic strategies work. So green-black is the one that's high toxic values, strictly trying to poison the opponents out. Green-white is the one where all of their toxic cards actually get a little bit better normal power and toughness. They don't like do more poison. They're like, the uncommons, like whenever you attack with a creature that has a toxic ability, you buff it up in terms of the regular stat line. So it's a bunch of creatures that have toxic, but you do often end up just dealing regular combat damage for lethal in green-white. Black-white, of course, trying to get 3 poison counters on the opponent, then all of your cards with Corrupted get better. And those are the big 3 that I think are the best toxic strategies in the set. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is not lethal, so no Hazardous Blast yet. Let's go Chimney Rabble. They are pretty guaranteed dead to Hazardous Blast next turn. Sure, they can take the free kill to go to 2. The only way they live is with a board wipe now, even if we didn't have Hazardous Blast. It's Plague Nurse. Alright, whatever the removal is, it's got to blow up a bajillion creatures. And it doesn't. Hazardous Blast OP, that is 2-0 incredibly quickly, heading into game 3. Here we are on the draw for game number 3. We got a great curve out on this one. Got that adaptive into Batterfist again. To another Batterfist. To evolve again after that. The Volt Charge Proliferate. This adaptive is going to be so big for just 1 mana. They grow up so fast. Incisor Glider. Can't attack into that. Bounce off each other. Sad for now. There's the Volt Charge for the adaptive. At least they have nothing to proliferate. So just 3 mana to kill my 1 mana creature. Still the adaptive getting good value there. We could play the adaptive Spore Singer into double spell next turn. No, I need double red to double spell. So I can't actually go Batterfist plus Salvo in the same turn anyway. I do like the Spore Singer on this board though. Start getting damage in. Shrapnel Slinger. Just a 2/2. There's an Evolving Adaptive. Definitely want to play that before a Volt Charge. You can play the Adaptive and Volt Charge and still have the Batterfist counter for later. Don't mind that. One mana 2/2s all day, baby. They trade into Spore Singer. It is technically the better creature at base stats. It's a 2/2 Vigilance versus a 2/2 Rebel. But they do take one extra point of damage right now for taking the trade in that direction. Indoctrination Attendant, just picking up a land. Fine. Wish I had double red here. We'll still just clear out the Attendant. Get them to 7 in a deck that has multiple Hazardous Blasts and a deal 3 to face already in the hand. Lightbringer and a Glider. Kuldotha Cackler's the draw. If I Volt Charge the Glider, I then trade Adaptive into Lightbringer and put them to 4. Alternatively, we wait. Play the Batterfist first. And just clear out one of these blockers. Oh, that doesn't actually trigger Adaptive at 3, because it came as a 2/2 technically before the Batterfist was equipped. That's so weird. Okay, so I needed to move a Batterfist pre-cast there then. Awkward. I mean, at that point, with them at 7, we just offer the flunge trades here. Just clear this board out. That was a misplay, though. So I guess I needed to re-equip the first Batterfist, then play the second. And then Adaptive would be up to the 3/3 stats, and then I only attack with the 3/1. That way I'd have a 4/4 Adaptive next turn. But I kind of ruined that, not realizing this technically doesn't count as a 3/1 for the Evolving Adaptive immediately. Alright, either way, we're in just an exceptional spot here. It says Toxic, right? Does not have Toxic. It's a good thing I read first. Shoot the Zealot and pretend I shot the face for 3. It's the same difference. Except that this way I keep my dude. Alright. They're at 1 life. We got a Trampler now. I'm just gonna keep it unbatterfisted, so it's out of range of a Hexgold Slash from them. If I put a Batterfist on it, the 2 toughness is small enough to die to this additional common removal spell. And with them at 1, the extra power is completely irrelevant for now. There's a concession from our opponent, 3-0. We are just gliding through this draft with green-red, all commons and uncommons. It is a powerful archetype for a reason. That is 3-0 heading into game 4. Here we are now on the draw, unfortunately, against the number 2 ranked drafter in the world right now. Got a nice opening hand here. Playing against blue-white. That is my personal... Well, I might prefer red-white. One of my favorite archetypes. The blue-white artifact aggro deck, very, very powerful with the right support. And blue tends to be really open, so you can find all the support pretty easily, sometimes get past some absurd rares, like the 3-mana 1/3 that spits out a 3/3 golem token, all that kind of stuff. Alright, we led with a Scrap Gorger here, so now we get the double spell with multiple threats. There is one board wipe in the set, but, I mean, if they have that, they have that, and we just die. Fair enough. Just get bombed. Well, they could Skull Bomb or Batter Fist. I probably shouldn't play the Skull Bomb. Despite wanting to curve here. But I guess that takes their whole turn, so it's not horrific. Okay. Now they have something engraved for Scrap Gorger. Hold up Volt Charge mana. Yeah, let's hold up Volt Charge mana, but get in here. They're down to 12. Oh, this is a rough spot if they're thinking about sacrificing the Surgical Bay. Oh, wow. Yeah, they are not having a good time. This double Volt Charge is just going to be game. Welcome to Phyrexia. All will be one. Game just straight up over. 4-0. Heading into game number 5. Here we are for game 5. This is the saddest opening hand that we've had because I'm almost certain we have to mulligan it. I do get to lead with an Engraver and start discarding cards and drawing. We've seen how all these games have played out. Curving out, super, super important. And this curve basically starts at like 3 mana, and then maybe I'll play an Adaptive. I guess we're on the draw. You know what? I'll just top deck a Forest immediately and get super lucky. It'll be fine. So we 7-winned the first 2 drafts, and we're at 4 wins minimum here. I'm going to take unnecessary risks on this one. Our opponent is not. They are going to mulligan immediately. Alright, first draw is bad. It's another green spell. Playing against blue-black. Actually one of the slower archetypes, but it could have a lot of removal for Engraver, which just completely blanks us. Because we just top deck 2 green spells in a row. We have far more green sources than green spells to top deck now. We've got 8 green sources and 4 green spells left. But twice as many forests as green cards. A mountain there. I do think I need to just Volt Charge the Vran. Discard the Cultivator to the Engraver here. Probably should have activated this discarding Cultivator before I played land for a turn, so if I did top deck a forest, I could play it immediately, so that if I hit 2 forests in a row, I could actually play double Adaptive next turn before anything else. Dune Mover. They will not put a land on top of their deck. Uh-oh. Okay, it wasn't 2 forests in a row, so not like hard punished for that choice or anything. Fair enough. Adaptive. I'm gonna go Adaptive Cackler here. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just for the best. My hand's good enough to poke for 1. Single damage with Engraver worth not having it up on blocks. Against blue-black that... Well, I've already got 1 poison. I was going to say the first poison matters for any Proliferate, but I already got one from Prologue. Anyway. Yeah, we've seen how quick these games can go. Every single point of damage could definitely matter. Let's sneak one more in here. Oh, they got the Whisper that draws for the adaptive. Bummer. Prophetic Prism. Draw a card. Drop a swamp. Mesmerizing Dose. So it's the infinite removal deck, I see. They have one card left in their hand. So... they have one card left in their hand. We're winning on board. Yeah, we're good. We've got an Axiom Engraver as well. So any flood we hit, we get to dig through. I think we're in a pretty excellent position. Being at 4 poison is concerning, but I think the only way they're going to poison us from here on out is Proliferation. Which is obviously not the most consistent way. Hello there. Yeah, with Free from Flesh, these attacks are indeed free. If they block Spore Singer and activate to make a 2/3 blocker, then we just Volt Charge. Save the Free from Flesh for Evolving Adaptive. See how good that combo is. I'm really hoping they put Raptor in danger of a Volt Charge, because that'd be incredible for us. Okay. So we're probably going to have to double up here then. No, I could cast one of the two. If I cast Free from Flesh Adaptives as 7/7, then they have 6 maximum power. And then I get to save Volt Charge for their next blocker. Man, Free from Flesh is insane on Adaptive. Yes, thanks. It is pretty gnarly. And we pass turn. They're just flooding out over there. Batterfist pre-combat. I lied, I'm 1 mana off. I don't want to re-equip if it means not holding a Volt Charge. Well, they're super dead if Volt Charge resolves on the Aspirants. Yep, last card's a land. Some rough flood for our opponents. The win streak just continues forever. That is 5-0. Heading into Game 6, now in the money out of this draft, no matter where things go. Mono red hand on the play this time. Batterfist, Volt Charge, Rabble. If I mold to 6, I would keep these 6, so I'm just going to roll with this and be sad about the Evolving Adaptive, but we'll just pretend it doesn't exist. Just disregard it here. The rest of the hand is still great. Another Chimney Rabble's awesome, although hitting the non-land draw could be rough, as it leaves us with the potential to get mana screwed. Green-red mirror match. They've got the Cultivator for ramp. They've got both their colors in the opener. See where that takes them. Cop the long legs, turn 2, sure. Very filler. Perfect draw. Perfect draw. Now we get to play Evolving Adaptive and Batterfist and evolve the Adaptive in the same turn. Long legs for the Rebel token. The trade ever so slightly in our favor, since we get to keep that equipment for later. They keep nothing. Alright, our play next turn is going to be completely dependent on what we draw. We hit the land, Chimney Rattle. We don't, Volt Charge. But either is a great play. I would be a little sad to Volt Charge pre-Chimney Rabble, as then I wouldn't get the evolving off of playing the Chimney Rabble. But if I play the Chimney Rabble first, this is a 3-3, then I Volt Charge, then it's a 4-4. It's pretty beautiful if we can do that. Speaking of Chimney Rabble, good card is good, and here it is. Wait, to trade my 2-2 into their 3-3? No. You wanna go 3-3 for a 3-3, friend? Clear a path for the adaptive. They do. It's the Chimney Rabble fight of the ages. You can see how good those Chimney Rabbles are. They're already stacking up into making it very hard for our Batterfist to do anything. 4-4 can attack in freely on this board, so we set up the 4-4 here and send. Could try to use the charges like a trick. But I think that goes... I don't know. Yeah, no, I probably should have just done charge as a trick. I was trying to think how that actually goes wrong, like, if they block adaptive with, like, everybody. But then it's like, okay, well then I would kill everybody, because I'd kill the rabble and then blow everybody else up. Yeah, I should have just plunged, see what they did, and Volt charged afterward. But definitely played the other evolving adaptive pre-combat for it to get the counter as well. Shrapnel Slinger. They could, if they want, sack a goblin to blow up a Batterfist, but that's not very good. So just keep the Slinger. Wow, that's a draw. 8 toughness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They could have a burn spell here, like a Volt Charge or something. Definitely don't want to move Batterfist to just have a 3 toughness creature die to Volt Charge. So I think I just plunge. I mean, not plunge. That would be attacking with everybody. I think I just send adaptive in, the big one, with my Wombo trick up. Have to be a 4 damage instant to blow up my trick. No, we just eat the token. That works fine, and we play a Chimney Rabble. They could have the Volt Charge now post-combat, which is fair enough because my other adaptive's a 3-3. Yeah, this is very fine. They don't get any Proliferate value. I mean, technically they get Cultivator, but with 1 card in hand, it's pretty relevant. So yeah, we still have the Free from Flesh for the other adaptive. The other adaptive just as big of a problem now. Alright, no more instant speed burn, please. Okay, instant speed burn is now okay if you play it in like that in step. Like a Hex Gold Slash. Yeah. Counter the Hex Gold Slash and have a permanently bigger adaptive. Feels pretty good. Triple Chimney Rabble. Ooh, 1 mana Rebel Salvo. Evolving Adaptive just has slowly but surely been working its way through all the rabble. They're down to 8 now. Keep juicing that cultivator. It is fully just a land untapper now. That mana is ever relevant. Drew a double green card. It's going to be relevant this turn. Oh, they misclicked. It's going to be relevant next turn then. Chump that, take 3, 4, 5. I could salvo the Slinger here just to push damage, but that feels visibly aggressive. It's not lethal anyway. Probably could have moved the Batter Fist to there and then attacked with both of these. Alright, beautiful. Salvo target. Yeah, they have 3 total power over there. Could definitely move Batter Fist over. This is honestly a really reasonable opportunity to just go for the slash as well. Don't really have to play around a 1-mana spell because they would have cast it to save their 4/5 over trying to save their 2/2 here. Alright, they're just going to take it all. Fair enough. 6-0, undefeated 6 games in a row all the way into the final battle, which means that we get 3 shots at it. Incredible run from an incredible archetype green-red oil beatdown. Absurd stuff from our evolving adaptives. And we've got 3 shots to get maximum prize out. 3 shots to get our 3rd trophy run in a row. In Phyrexia, all will be won. Let's see what we got here as we head into the final battle. Alright, here we are for our first shot at that final battle, what might be the last game of Magic for the day. Great opening hand. We don't have our incredible 1-drops, our evolving adaptives that have been carrying us to victory. But we've got multiple 2-mana, 3-power threats, so we still get the ball rolling real quick with this hand, as well as the Haster. To top it off, Chimney Rabble later. Let's lead off with the Canker Bloom here, start with the highest toughness attacker. We're starting with Prosthetic Injector, so pretty focused kind of toxic strategy over there potentially. Mono blue for now. Good sign for us. Blue has the least efficient removal in the whole set. The worst removal spells. Got red now, so they could have Hexgold Slash here. We've got the Free from Flesh to counter that. If they have a Volt Surge, that'll work. They go for a Gleeful Demolition on their Injector. So my options here are to allow them to kill my Canker Bloom or allow them to get 3 1/1s. That's pretty close. Would I rather they have 3 1/1s or rather I have a Canker Bloom? I think I would rather they don't get the 1/1s here. With a 3/1 on board like this. So basically just made them spend 2 separate cards to blow up Canker Bloom. Like, that's a good deal for us, all things considered. They're down to 11. I've got a Free from Flesh here. I mean, we just plunge, and I don't see how they get out of this at this point. Basically need a board wipe. And there are very few in the set. There's a Chimney Rabble. It's pretty helpful. Try to survive here. Let's see what we get off this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could hit for 6 here if I buff over there. Put them to 1, but I think I'd rather just keep this. Have them be at a slightly higher life total. 3. Alright. 5 mana for our opponent. Koth is cool, but nowhere near enough. Koth can blow up one of our creatures.
Then I will fight forever. Built you to slag.
Send in the squad. Alright, that is 7-0. A full undefeated run with Gruul. That is an example of how strong Gruul is in Phyrexia. All will be one. We did a couple blue decks in a row, got 7-win runs. We did one green-red deck, got a 7-win run. We're just having an incredible time in the set. In terms of win rate, you just have got to keep things aggressive. You've got to keep things low curve. That has been the one consistent thread between all 3 of these decks. I think maybe all 3 of them were also 16 landers instead of 17 as well, but definitely just low curve aggro, whatever color pair you're doing. This was a all commons and uncommons, no rares, no bombs, just streamlined aggro build. And it really got there, completely undefeated. Evolving Adaptive, obviously the MVP of this deck, the most important card by quite a lot. This cheated a lot of those games out for us, just consistently attacking for 3, 4, sometimes even 5 damage later in the game. Really ridiculous amount of damage output for a 1-drop. So huge shout out to Evolving Adaptive. The best commons in the deck, definitely the Chimney Rabbles being consistently great, and I think the Volt Chargers actually overperformed for me. I generally prefer them, prefer Hex Gold Slash over them by quite a lot for the raw efficiency of that spell, but the Volt Chargers were doing some work alongside cards like Evolving Adaptive, Axiom Engraver, Lattice Blade Mantis, some cards with oil counters hanging around, and we also won a game off of double Volt Charging our opponent's face for 6 damage when they were at 12. So it's like double Volt Charge, you're down to 6, and then attack you with my 2 3/3s, finish that game off. So huge work from Volt Charge. Hazardous Blast showed up a lot early, and we got to show off the power level of that spell as well. And then we kind of didn't see it for the second half of the draft, so that was a little interesting. But yeah, not too much else to say, just all around great stuff here. Weakest card, biggest underperformer. I mean, we had Filler in here. We had Spore Singer. It's probably the worst card, but still filled its role. It was still a reasonable 3-mana play. Same with like Predation Steward. Yeah, great draft. We're having a great time with Phyrexia. All will be one. Will I just 7-win run every single draft of this flashback season? That'd be pretty crazy, but that's the rate that we're going with so far. I don't know, but as for now, we're going to take our 2,200 gems, our 6-packs, and head off for the day. That is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, subscribe to tell the YouTube audience, send some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.